All right. Welcome back to Eyes Open Media. Told you guys I'll be back. Okay, so we just talked about the Muso map. Now we're gonna get into Bitcoin. Okay, and we're also gonna talk about stock market and why the stock market does not indicate a country's wealth or how good an economy's doing. And I'll get into that because a lot of people are fooled by that and think that the stock market is an indication of how your country is doing, and that is false. Okay, now, and of course, we'll get into it. We'll get into it. Let's talk about Bitcoin because Bitcoin hit record highs today. Going back to 2013 highs, it surpassed that today. Okay, so Bitcoin just hit all-time highs, and if you go to Coinbase, you can see right there, one Bitcoin is $1,173.52 for one Bitcoin. Okay, and I was just watching Jamie join Jamie. Some of you guys know him. A marketing buddy. He put a video from Max Kaiser from I think it was a couple years back, where they were talking about how one Bitcoin could equal $700,000 in the future. Okay, and then of course I brought you the news about Yahoo Finance that said one Bitcoin is going to at least hit 25,000. Excuse me, 25,000. Okay, in the near future. And then I even gave you guys and OJ, one of my Bitcoin guys. He's a Bitcoin wizard. I gave you guys our outcome for Bitcoin just for this year, right? We're in March. We're looking for 1,200 to 1,600, and then by the end of the year, we're looking at 2,000 to 3,000 for one Bitcoin. That is life changing just at 3,000. Okay, especially if you're earning Bitcoin every day like we are, right? So we earn Bitcoin every day in MPCA. So if you're earning Bitcoin every day and Bitcoin goes to 3,000, your life has changed. Because now, if you were just making $100, if you're making $100 inside the system, you're now making $300, and you didn't even do nothing. So that's huge amount of money. $300 a day. That's crazy. And then from $300 and the Bitcoin goes to 4,000, and then 5,000, and then 25,000. You can see how huge it will be if you're earning Bitcoin. I advise everybody to get something online. I don't care what it is. Maybe it's pay to view pay to view clicks. I know you only get a little bit of Bitcoin on that, but hey, it doesn't matter. You can earn a cent. If Bitcoin goes to 25,000, that cent becomes an enormous amount of money, right? So don't worry about it. Just earn Bitcoin daily. That's the goal. Doesn't matter if you join with me or you don't. Earn Bitcoin daily and start, and make sure you're able to stack it somewhere, or earn it somewhere. Okay. And don't just join anything because there's a lot of scams out there as well. Okay, make sure that the owner is trusted. Make sure the owner is on live webinars or hangouts. As you guys see, I post Uday Nara, I post MPA, MPCA, I post Drew when My 24 gets back on. I post the ads team. Okay, so I post Zuko, Jeremy. Okay, so make sure you know the owner. Make sure you can trust the owner. Okay, because there's a lot of scams out there as well. Looking at ETH though, ETH is also doing well. If you go to ETH's let's see ETH chart here. Okay, ETH all time high was up here around two. What is this? Okay, so this was actually June 15th, 2016. It was $19, 1943, so almost $20. And it's at 1312, so it's coming back. It's coming back. It's at 1312 today. It's coming back up. So that's good. So anybody that bought down here at about 750 range is looking good, almost 100% on ETH. And we're supposed to start earning ETH by the summertime in MPCA. Okay, and so Bitcoin. Let's go back to the Bitcoin chart here. as you can see, just rising up, and it's rising steadily. It's like it's not just a one straight upward. It's rising smooth. It's taking its time, and it's going by supply versus demand, the government banks, and also the push to get the ETF approved in March is also pushing it higher. Webbot report came out and said that we hit the mark that we wanted to hit for Bitcoin, and the next mark for Bitcoin is 1291. Okay, and then after we pass 1291 and close above that, the next mark is 1421, I believe. Okay, so and this should all be within in the time frame of March, because we believe that the ETF will be approved, and when that is approved, I think Bitcoin goes to 1400, 1600 range. Okay, and then from there it might take a breather. It might breathe a little bit, and then before it goes to 2000, or it might just continue straight up to 2000 and 3000, and then just continue straight all the way up to 25,000. Who know? But of course, things go up, things go down, things go up. But as long as it's projecting upwards, that's what we want to see. Okay, so and in this article it tells you how to buy it, and I already tell you guys how to buy it. This guy's using Coinbase, and I use Coinbase as well. I got the link for you guys for Coinbase in the description section. So, and the link, of course, for MPCA as well as others in the description section. So he tells you how to buy, and also they got the Bitcoin ATMs. We're gonna start to see these Bitcoin ATMs. We're not gonna see them in America yet until we start to see the banks, start their coins and things of that nature, right? So until the banks can figure out a way to make money on it here in America, then we'll probably start to see a lot of Bitcoin ATMs, so they can get fees and stuff from it. Like we see in, I think Dubai has one. Dubai also has the gold ATM machines as well, where you could purchase gold. China, Japan, Philippines, these places in India, these places have the Bitcoin ATM machines for people to buy Bitcoin, maybe even sell Bitcoin back as well. So yeah, so Bitcoin is becoming a household name, and I was in that video from Matt Kaiser, and the guy that was a miner, Bitcoin miner, the Bitcoin miner guy was talking about how how Bitcoin is limited and things, but you can cut it into millions of pieces. Just like the U.S. dollar, $1 is $1 in America, but then you can cut it into nickels and dimes and pennies, and you know what I mean. So that's the same thing for Bitcoin. You can cut it. So they're only gonna mine 21 million Bitcoins, but you can cut it into millions of different Bitcoins. Okay, but still, just the fact that there's only going to be 21 million Bitcoins created, that's going to create, that's going to take supply versus demand to skyrocket levels. Okay, especially when central banks are punishing countries now for using cash, and people are not going to be using cash anymore. And like India told their country to go digital or pay the consequences for it. So they're going to be going digital with cryptocurrency, and also gold and silver and things of that nature. Okay, so as we look at the markets here, the Dow is at 20,832. I will cover the when the Dow closes here in a little bit. I will cover that on the report extras on the main channel, Currency 365. So hopefully you guys subscribe to this channel and subscribe to that channel as well. The US dollar's at 199. Now let's talk about the markets. Let's talk about the market and why the markets don't indicate the wealth of a country, or what the country, or the economic status of a country. Okay, because a lot of people think, oh well, look at their markets. Their markets are at all-time high. Or America's markets are at all-time high, or Japan's market are doing this and that, or China's market, Europe market, UK's market. You know what I mean? Abu Dhabi's market is doing this, or some of that is true. Okay, I'm not gonna say it's not all true, because some of that is true. It's like Iraq. I'm gonna say this, like the Iraqi market, right? The Iraqi market is exploding. Why is that though? Because the Iraqi markets were in heavy sanctions, and then they were in heavy war. Okay, and now the world sees that Iraq is coming out of all of that, and they're about to be freed from terrorism. So people are putting their money in the Iraqi market like crazy. The billionaires and the elites are flooding the Iraqi markets. That is something different. Okay, that's seeing an opportunity and flooding it. Okay, and it doesn't dictate. And as you can see, it's not dictating what the reality of Iraq is right now. Right, Iraq is going through a war. Right, they're fighting Daesh and ISIS in Western Mosul. So the stock market is increasing, but it doesn't have. But the people are poor. That's a great example right there that the markets are rising, but the people are poor, and the country is still in war. Okay, but the reason is that the people are anticipating an explosive wealth transfer in Iraq. So they're getting ready and they're getting their hands in the stock market, they're getting their hands in the oil, they're getting their hands in everything they could possibly get their hands in Iraq before they return to the international stage. Okay, so that's one example. Then you got the American stock market at 20,827. Everybody around the world will be like, oh my goodness, America's doing very well. But that's not the case, right? And Americans, we have millions of people on welfare. We got millions of people on government aid. We got millions of people on Social Security. We got millions of homeless people. Okay, and the reason why the stock market is up so high for America is because the Feds Janet Yellen printed trillions of dollars, and she's using those trillions of dollars to fund the stock market, to basically to buy up the stocks, right? And so that's what we're doing. So that's why the markets are up so high. It's not that because if people have all this money to put into the markets are up because the Federal Reserve, have printed a lot of money and they're buying the stock market prices. And this is why when the Federal Reserve doesn't buy the stocks, the market's down 600 points. Because no one can really, not that many people are in the market to keep it up. So the Feds have to keep it up. The Feds are the ones that are keeping the market up. So that doesn't indicate nothing that's going on in America. It doesn't indicate the true economy that America has. Of course, Donald Trump's going to try his best to bring back the gold standard, make currencies fair around the world, bring in and I believe that gold will explode under Donald Trump because he's bringing back the gold standard. And I think gold will, gold if Donald Trump is in there for 8 years, let's say Donald Trump's in there for 8 years. I know Democrats don't want to hear that, but if Donald Trump's in there for 8 years, let's say he survives and he doesn't get killed or anything like that, they don't shoot him or anything like that. I know they're gonna, of course, they're gonna attempt to, because that's the New World Order. He's against the New World Order, right? Look, Donald Trump is a man that is associated with these people, but his mindset and the way he thinks is opposite of a New World Order, right? And same thing with Russia, and that's the reason why the New World Order is against Russia and China and Donald Trump, right? So that it makes sense. Okay, so these people are aligned with each other, but they think differently. Okay, so Donald Trump wants to see America great. He wants to see America's border safe. He wants to see the gold standard back, and he wants to see currencies playing on an even level field, and he doesn't want war. Same thing Russia doesn't want. Russia, I will say this: Russia is going to will have no choice. They're going to have to go with China, and they're going to have to conquer a lot of these countries. I already talked about that, right? And they're also going to invade America in the future, and not under Donald Trump, of course. So if Donald Trump stays for 8 years, that's good for us. And so for those that are liberals and those who are Democrats that are listening to me and attacking Donald Trump, you need to understand that if Donald Trump leaves that office, Russia and China are going to invade America. Okay, and World War III will start faster than it's supposed to. Okay, if Hillary Clinton had won, we would be in World War III. Okay, and we would have 100 million illegal immigrants flooding into this country, and we would be in complete chaos and begging for the New World Order. That's what they wanted to do, and because people prayed heavily for that not to happen, for Donald Trump to win, God intervened. And despite all of our numbers and decodings and everything that Hillary Clinton's going to win, God intervened and Donald Trump won. So we got to look at that, especially those that are against Donald Trump. We need to understand that if you're alive right now because he's in office, okay? Because we would be at war. We would be preparing for World War III, and 100 million plus refugees would be flooding in this country, and it would be complete chaos. And so we have to understand. We got to be grateful. We got to be thanking God for that intervention. Okay, so the markets don't dictate how a country is actually is. Eyes open.